Well, welcome back to Letter Boss. I'm really excited. We took a little break there for a couple weeks, and now we're back on track. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that's really near and dear to me, is about balancing your busy work life and being very productive and growing in business, but also balancing your family life. And I have some special guests today. One is my little co-host here. Can you introduce yourself?
I've been on Letterbox before, and I'm here again.
And you're here again. And your name is?
Laura.
And you are?
8.
And you are my...
Family.
Family. So, what is one of the things that you always tell me when we're going to have quality time together?
Don't be on your phone.
Don't be on your phone. So, I just recently was talking to a big team and talking about balancing your schedule to make sure you get all your revenue generating activities in and all the marketing activities in you need to grow your business. But even more importantly is like having balance with your family and your faith and your fitness and all of the things that you need to have a well-balanced life. And if we're doing all this work to be successful, it means nothing if in the process we don't get to have quality time with the ones we love. So I have some folks that I know have been in this industry for a long time, and they're going to share how they found some balance in their busy work days of making time for their health and their fitness and their family time and raising their children. Because that, for me, that was one of the whole reasons I really wanted to own my own business, was so that I would have control over my time to be able to not miss those special moments, their birthdays and holidays together. And we just came back from spring break, and that was special.
Your birthday's
right?
in a couple days.
And my birthday's in a couple of days, and what are we going to do?
We're going to have so much fun.
We're going to have so much fun. Oh, that's good. I like that idea. So that's something we have to schedule in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have to put on the calendar because it's on a weekday? So how are we going to do that?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that today, of how you can, some tips of really balancing your life so you can still have really quality time with family and spouses and friends and for yourself. That's not just all about building your business. So with that, let's bring in our first guest. Well, welcome to our guest today is my very dear friend, Crystal Marks. It's also a special day for her because it's her birthday. She's turning 29. And
Truth.
I have watched her for over 18 years now as kind of a partner in this industry. As I was on the real estate sales side, and you are in title
and escrow.
Yeah. And so you got the pleasure of serving the agent on the side of the title and escrow portion of it and helping us enhance our business. So actually you're like the entrepreneur's best friend, because you helped us show us, different ways we could market ourselves and encourage us, and we're a great cheerleader along the way. And I know there's lots of things that you do in title and escrow, but you are a sales rep for the most part. So you go around like helping promote your company and to the agents, and then also helping see what you can do to help them promote their business.
Correct.
Yeah. But one of the things that I love about Crystal is that she is a fabulous mother. And through all of that, being a working mama, and now your daughter's in the industry too, so she got to learn from the best of how to balance that. So we were talking about how, we make our business plan and we make our lists of all the things we have to do and our checklists every day and calendar everything, but do we ever really calendar in our time for our family? Do we really make time for that? And most business owners and entrepreneurs, they don't put that in there. But that is so important. And why Crystal's like one of my favorite people on this, because she told me a story one time.
Oh.
That's going to make her cry.
Okay, go ahead.
But how she was busy doing things home on a weekend, and her daughter was little, 3 or 4? 3. She was making mud pies, and she kept, Mama, help me. I should let you tell a story, but you'll cry. So, Mama, make mud pies with me. And you're like, no, honey, I'm busy. And you got it captured on film.
Yeah, I was videotaping.
So you have a videotaping of it, of your mama being busy and not making mud pies. And you say that you look back and you always regret not taking that moment to make those mud pies.
Yeah, because every time I watch that video now, I'm like, why didn't I make the mud pies? Why didn't I stop, put the camera down, and make the mud pies? Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
But you still had fabulous times with your daughter, but that was like one of those pivotal moments that you said, oh my gosh, I really need to make time. And right now, like in where you're at in your life right now, you're really thinking about those mud pie moments of where it's like, I really want to enjoy those, right? You want to take every minute. And so every time I take a phone call or Laura's wanting my attention or maybe my significant other's wanting my attention, I hear that in the back of my head is like, make mud pies.
Make mud pies.
These are mud pie moments. Take the pictures.
And
do
I
the
love that I told you that story and that it is helping you parent, because you know everybody wants to share what they didn't do so that then you can not that you can actually be better.
Yeah. And so for you, like, what was some of the things that you knew you were going to have to say no to really have that balance? Because that's the hard one, is saying no.
Yeah, so dinner time was our time, and it always has been, and it's been a really great thing. So gathering for our dinner at the end of the day was vital for it, because that was the one thing that we all came together for, was dinner. And I have pictures of a calendar that we had, a family calendar. It all kind of goes together. Big, huge, ugly desk calendar in my beautiful dining room with white walls, and I had, it's all beautiful. And then I had this really ugly desk calendar tacked to the wall right next to the dining room table. And I have it in all the pictures, the Thanksgiving pictures and the Christmas pictures and all of the holiday pictures, is that ugly calendar that sticks out like a sore thumb. But it was absolutely vital that, and a very huge part of our coming together, because I taught my children at a very young age to write down their soccer practice, their extracurricular activities, all the things that they had going on with their school, and they wrote those on the calendar. And so every night we had the opportunity to come together and look at the calendar and say, oh, you have this coming up, let's talk about it. Then this is coming up. So not only did it keep us organized and let us know, okay, this is what's coming up, but it also created a space where we could talk about stuff. So
that's awesome. I love that. And then it taught them to kind of live by their calendar, like we talk about that all the time. You've got to live in that. Sierra's thanking you right now. She's like, thanks, Mom, because now I have to live by my calendar to do what I do, because everything down to the minute sometimes is calendared in our day. And I know
it's not on the calendar.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. And I know because you send us calendar invites for tea a lot of times. So if you're going to have tea, you're going to have to calendar invite.
I have to reserve it.
It's got to go in your calendar. And I know that everybody's like, well, dinner time, that's easy, but it's not really in our industry. Even you as technically a 9-to-5 job isn't really, because there's so many after-hour functions, and so you have to balance that in and schedule those in around and still make sure you're balancing your family time. And so I love that story of having the calendar, because that, I can think of so many moms and dads that'd be so helpful if they did. And I know, like Tom Ferry and all of them, they always say is like, plan all your family stuff first. Like, get your calendar out at the beginning of the year, put your vacations down, put your holidays down, put your birthdays down, put your, all your sport events and everything, and how you have to calendar around that. So is that something that you've helped agents with and lenders with when they're growing their business, like show them some of the tricks of what you found helpful?
Well, yeah, because in life, success is important in life, but when you get to a certain age, and it is my birthday, you will realize what looking back, what was really important. And it's a work-life balance for sure. So don't put all your eggs in the work basket, because you'll regret it later. So you have to actually schedule your family time and schedule that time with your kids, because we all have one life, right? One life, one shot, one chance. And you don't want to have any regrets. And I knew that at a young age. I didn't want to have any regrets. So I don't know why, though. There was no like pivotal moment in my life where I said, I don't want to have any regrets with my kids. I just kind of knew, because I had a really good upbringing with, my mom spent a lot of time with me. But I knew I didn't want to have any regrets, and I knew from hearing from my elders at that time that it's like, don't worry about folding the clothes. Don't worry about doing that. Don't worry about cleaning the house. What's really important is spending time. And so that echoed, in the back of my head the whole time. And so I took a very strategic approach to raising my kids with time being in there and scheduling the time with that. And sometimes you have to say no to the work stuff, but you say no knowing that, you know, it's for a very, very valuable reason. Because your kids are going to remember when you were there. They're not going to remember when you weren't there.
That's right. So your non-negotiables, like up front, and that was, so I always tell agents, you know, and lenders, like if for your prospecting hours, like you have your non-negotiable things, and then you had your non-negotiable things. And I was sharing, before you came in, Laura was sharing one of the things she always says, when we're going to have time together, you can't be on your phone. Because just because you're there doesn't mean you're really there if you're on your phone.
And isn't that interesting that somebody as young as Laura can make that connection of, Mom, if you're on your phone, you're not with me. I think that's interesting.
Like if you had back then, if cell phones were, when Sierra was little, like if you had been on your phone, you would have missed that whole moment.
Oh, yeah.
Like it
Easily.
would have been gone.
I think it's more of a struggle now for moms because of, literally just because of phones.
Yeah.
Because you can be on your phone, you're not present for your
You can't get away from it. I know when I started in real estate, it's like there was cell phones. I'm not that old, but there was cell phones, but there was no email on them. And there was very minimal texting was happening because you had to do it by the number, and nobody was doing that. Yeah, the black. Yeah, they did have the. You know, I just had the flip phone when I started. I was the first one to get a Palm Pilot in the office,
and
it was
Palm Pilot.
That was amazing. But it's still thin. I don't even think it had an email.
I think that's like
on
an 8-track now.
It is. I still have it. It's so heavy.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like you didn't have. But now, like, because back when you started, you didn't have email on your phone either. You didn't have. You had to go. We didn't really carry our laptops around. We went back to the office. So when we would go to lunch or when we would go to a children's function, we might get a call, but it was very rare that disrupted it. And now it's like we have email and text messages and Slack and
social
Facebook
media,
and everything is distracting us constantly, even when we try to get away if we have that phone on us. And so I think it's really important that we schedule our phone free time. We schedule, now I'm saying this, and then somebody I know is going to see this and be like, that's right, no phones.
Well, you do need a schedule. And literally, like, I actually teach realtors to block out times on their calendars for your prospecting, for your maintenance clients, for your kids, for dinner. Like, put it on there, dinner. Dinner is from, 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 or whatever. And then, just like block it out, schedule it so that it happens. And then if you're scheduling something in the future and you see you have this family event, you can say, and people are understanding. Yeah. I'm sorry, I have dinner with my family that night.
Yeah, it's an appointment.
They totally respect it when you say it like that even.
Yeah, it's important. And now Jake's overseas, and so those dinners are more important than they ever were before.
They are.
So I appreciate you sharing that because that is so important. Of all the balance that we can have, like business will come and go, money will come and go, but your family hopefully will always be there, and you don't want to miss that time with them. So.
And we still, now that I'm an empty nester, we have dinner once a week. We come together, and we still have that dinner. We don't have the calendar because they do their own thing, but we still have dinner once a week. Just so I can look them in the eye.
So even when your children grow up and they go away.
Oh, you still have to nurture it.
Is Jake on Zoom?
No.
No. Didn't he for the holiday though? Didn't he Zoom in?
Yes, for the holiday. For the important times, we'll get him in on Zoom. So the phones are beneficial.
Yeah, to Zoom in your children when they're overseas. So. Yeah. Well, I love the story. Thank you for sharing this with us, and we're gonna have to have you back and you come tell us more about title and escrow.
I'd rather talk about mud pies.
Let's talk about just kidding. No, we won't show this.
Title and escrow is so exciting, but mud pies.
We'll have you tell like crazy stories that you can tell about title and escrow and the benefits of why someone would want to have a title company. So.
Okay, that's a deal.
Well, I love it. Well, we have another mama that's a working mom that's going to join us and tell us her tips of balancing life. But I appreciate you taking time out of your birthday for me.
You're very welcome.
This is our friend time. This is how we fit in our friend time. We're like, come film with me.
We didn't have any tea though.
Yeah, where's our tea? We have to have tea afterwards. Well, so we're back with another guest. This is Stacey McGhehey, and she's been a guest with us before, but we had your your brother with us, then your
Yes.
favorite brother.
Yes, my favorite brother.
Your favorite brother. And so this today is about you and about your business and what it was like, because you've been in it, I think, almost as long as me, and
Just a little shy of
a
yours.
little after me. But you were a mom during all that and raised your two daughters and
Yeah, I had
balanced-
real estate babies.
You had real estate babies.
No, they weren't babies when I started, but they were in elementary school.
Okay.
And at that point, I was newly divorced. So I was single mom in it with my girls and figuring out how life looked like that. So there was a lot of change.
Wow.
And so, yeah, there was a lot. Learning a new career, learning to be a single mom, and juggling all the sports schedules that they get into, the soccer and the baseball, softball, whatever it is they wanted to do, tried to accommodate that so they could grow and have their circle of friends and interest and things like that. So real estate was fortunate that with a flexible but demanding schedule, you can still block out those times so you can be at kids' sports. For most of the games or the practices, whatever it is we needed to be at, there were times where it just had to be taking care of something that was relevant at the time and was timely. But majority of the time, I was able to be present for my kids.
That's awesome. And I know Crystal shared like some of her tips of like how she was able to calendar everything. And I know I've coached with you for several years now, and I always encourage you to make your checklist and then put it in your calendar, because if it isn't in your calendar, it doesn't happen. We don't talk a lot about the personal things you need to calendar, like your family and your faith and your fitness and your spouse, time with your spouse.
Yes.
Like those things are so important.
Yeah, those are red on my calendar.
Yeah,
those are important.
The things that you need to block out for, and how important those things are to really make you a happy, well-rounded, businesswoman.
Yeah.
Without those, like we don't want you to have regrets.
I did
missing time.
I entered the business so that I could be a mom first and run a business, have an income. So yeah, always trying to keep that in place where, my schedule is going to revolve around what my kids need, that I can plan for. There's always those things that come up, and you've like emergency things with kids. This happened or that happened. And you've got to react to that. But that's where real estate, it's allowed me to, with that flexible schedule, if I didn't have an appointment, I can be there.
Yeah.
And it means a lot to me. Growing up, my mom was always home. She was home with us. They had a business where we lived in the business, so even if she was working, she was always available, and same with my dad, but my dad was doing things that I just didn't want to be involved with. He was a mortician, and so he did that. My mom did the book work and some other duties that followed in line there, but she was always able to be there for us, so that was important for me to find as I was wanting to be a career woman again after being a stay-at-home mom. So figuring out how that all works and being a mom first.
Yeah. And I love that. And you still, even though they're grown up now, like you still have to make time to be a mom. Like,
yeah, they say, they're 18 and out. No, they're not 18 and out.
They boomerang, isn't it the boomerang children that they come back?
Well,
they come back.
they just short visits coming back. But yeah, it's such a weird society and change and what we expected, what we grew up with in our generation and what they're dealing with in their generation. It's very different. And so, it's tough out there for kids, for young adults getting started and figuring out their way.
Well, and when I was talking to Crystal, we were talking about how like when we first started in real estate, like we weren't as glued, because Laura's thing always when we're having time, she's like, can we have no phone? Like, can you not be on your phone? And, obviously we're maybe not always on a conversation, but used to be like if we were on our phone, it was a conversation. And now when we're on our phone, it could be on social media, it could be on email, it could be on text, it could be on Slack, it could be on all the many different ways that everybody talks to us now. And it's so hard to get away from that. And your significant other has a very different industry than you. So like it's
different industry. He's also owns his own business. So and his customers do contact him, but they're pretty respectful of his time. But they're, it's something that he and I both, we want to provide good service to our clients, customers, and be available to them. But at the same time, we know when we can shut it down, and have time for our family and just each other, and get back to them. And a lot of that's because we've built trust with our clients and customers, and we're going to do a good job for them. We're not going to leave them hanging, and so we will get back to them. It's just sometimes we got to turn it off.
Well, and I think that's like the misconception a lot in our industry of many, just anyone owning their own business, is that people won't understand that they have a life. Like, we hide that we have a personal life sometimes. We hide that we're a mom, or we hide that we have a significant other, or we hide that we're going to go on vacation. That's the big one. We're always like, we never go on vacation.
We're always available.
We're always here. And it's like...
the vacation where I don't bring my computer is the worst vacation, because I have so much anxiety.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the time when I need it the most. I'm like, I'll just work from my iPad. I won't need my computer, but that's the time.
I'm sorry, we're 5 minutes to go. Lucinda's already 5 minutes late.
Okay.
I want to give you that heads up.
Okay.
Thank you.
We will wrap it here.
Wrap.
That was quick.
Yeah.
But we'll have to do he's going to piece this one together, and we'll do a sequel. So,
Okay.
So I think, like, as we kind of wrap up here, like, I loved, Crystal gave a little tip of like how she got her kids to calendar things. Like, now the kids are all grown. Like, what's a tip that you could leave to, single moms, working moms, ones out there that are trying to balance life? You went through being, owning your own business and finding love and getting married, and what's it like trying to find time to even date? Like, I think about that now. It's like, it's an effort to make time to date.
It is, and you do have to preserve that time. We try to get, Graham and I have like a Thursday night date night, and we don't always hit it. In fact, this Thursday we're going to be together, but we always try to make a point to be together. And if we're not out having a date, we are at home with each other. So, we just preserve our time. We have a great calendar.
I like that.
We both work from.
Well, and I think that's probably a great tip, like, especially like for preserving a relationship, is calendaring like that date night, that alone, to still date each other and to still take that time, because it's so easy to be like, I have a showing. Yeah. And but it should be an appointment that you don't change. Like, it's just as important as the next transaction, as the next client.
Yeah.
So,
that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Yes. I think that they would respect that. People will respect that, because they all have date nights and vacations and significant others and children.
Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate it so much. I feel like our time's really short, but we're going to do more follow-ups and more tips that we can give for those out there that own their own businesses and raising their families. And so thank you.
Well,
thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for having me here today.
That's a wrap, and we'll see you on the next one.